ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यंकरवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम Mantra number 8, only one. अविद्यायामन्तरे वर्तमानाः अविद्यायामन्तरे वर्तमानाः स्वयं धीराः पण्डितं मन्यमानाः स्वयं धीराः पण्डितं मन्यमानाः जङ्घन्यमानाः पर्यन्ति मूढाः जङ्घन्यमानाः पर्यन्ति मूढाः अन्धेनैव नीयमाना यथान्धाः अन्धेनैव नीयमाना यथान्धाः अविद्याया बहुधा वर्तमानाः वयं कृतार्था इत्यभिमन्यन्त बालाः अविद्यायां बहुधा वर्तमानाः वयं कृतार्था इति अभिमन्यन्ति बालाः यत्कर्मिणो न प्रवेदयन्ति रागात् तेनातुराः क्षीणलोकाश्च्यवन्ते यत्कर्मिणो न प्रवेदयन्ति रागात् तेनातुराः क्षीणलोकाश्च्यवन्ते। अंधे नैव नियमाना यथान्धाः। They are the blind who are led by another blind. Two ways. One I said yesterday, that human mind is a hero worshipper. It needs an ideal to follow, even to follow the values. These values cannot be communicated in an abstract manner. Can be communicated, but then it won't inspire as much as a personified value would inspire the person. When you read autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi, when you read the story of Harish Chandra, the one who lived the truth, it inspires that I must speak the truth. So, our history, Ramayana and Mahabharata, by the way, they are the history, they are not Puranas. Rama actually lived on this land. Pandavas were there on this bhumi. Krishna was there in the bhumi. They are history. And it is so beautifully narrated by Veda Vyasa and Valmiki ji. This character, they are archetype characters. Each character personifies a given value. It is said, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Rama is embodiment of Dharma. Dharma means a person who is committed to duty. For him, duty first, nothing else. He lived the life of duty. And so much of commitment that he was willing to sacrifice everything for my duty. All the way. Even on the battlefield, he adheres to the rules of the book. It is mentioned when on the first day, Ravana was so tired and he almost could have killed him. He swooned on the chariot. But then Rama told, as per the rules of the law, I shall not kill. He tells his charioteer, Sarthi, take your master back home. Give him some treatment. Recharge him with the energy food and come again tomorrow. We shall fight. So, all the way. Similarly, both types of values are there. Both types of characters are there. What to do and what not to do also. Like one universal requirement or universal relationship human being has other than the blood relation is friends. Every human heart at certain age yearns for the friends. What is friendship? And what is improper way of relating or becoming a friend? That is being told personified by these two pairs of friends. Even today across India, they glorify this. Everybody tells a story that Krishna and Sudama were the best friends. And that friendship, to what level? One was a king and one was simple ordinary citizen. And by the way, Sudama Dwarika is of course near me, my place, 200 kilometers. Sudama lived in Porbandar, where Gandhiji was born. The city is called Porbandar today, but actual name of the city is Sudama Puri. Puri means the city of Sudama. So they have told this personified value. What kind of friendship one should have. And what one should not have is another pair. King Drupada, Drishtadyumna and Draupadi's father, and Dronacharya. They also same background. Dronacharya and Drupada grew up in a Gurukulam. They lived in a Gurukulam as a brahmachari. They were the team who's in serving and all that. So also Krishna and Sudama were team. Drupada was a son of king. He knew that. Prushat Raja, and he knew the only son. Hair prince he was. He knew this. Krishna knew much more than Drupada, that he is not to be a king but the king maker, Raja Dhiraj. He must be Sarvagna Ishvara, he must be knowing that I will be Dwarkadish, the king of Dwarika, which is the only golden whole thing. But he never promised anything to friend Sudama. Drupada promised and didn't keep the promise. Krishna never promised and still gave him and helped him. Friendship personified. See, it is important that we tell our Ityasas and Puranas to our children. And these stories inspire them to commit to the value. It is so beautifully depicted and in so detail that the ways of thinking of a human mind, proper way of thinking and improper way of thinking, has been so beautifully depicted or elaborated by Vyasji that it hits the bullseye. You get inspired and you get clarity as to what I shouldn't do and what I should be doing. Telling them do this and don't do that doesn't work as much as this works. It may work for some time. They may oblige the parents because of the relationship. But after certain age, it doesn't. The value should become their own value. That is what is done through these stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Puranas also. Anyway, coming back to this topic. So there are some people get inspired by these characters, and there are some people who are self-appointed leaders. They create an issue and appoint themselves as a leader. A typical is communist. They create the divide between rich and poor. They implant in the minds of the poor that you are poor because of them. They are exploiting you. They implant them. And then appoint them a champion, a Masiha of the poor. They implant this value that your culture is responsible for your poverty. Your religion is responsible for your poverty. That's one of the major objectives. Wherever the communists have penetrated, they have removed or destroyed the religion and destroyed the culture. So much so I was told that in Russia they had government decided the surnames, that you should have only this much surnames. You don't know the background. You don't know their group or whatever. You just don't know. They're all regimentation, declassified. And then they become leaders as saviors. Communism failed across the world because the self-appointed leaders were exploiting the people by conditioning them that you are exploited. Only the leaders of the communist government were rich and enjoying the life. Others were deprived. So coming back to this, there is another category of that leaders. These are the one either which way. They show off that we know, vayam krutak, whatever is to be done, veditavya, veditavya. We know all that is to be known. And then become a leader. What kind of leader? Andhe naiva niyamana yathanta. Because they themselves are not clear about the goal. They themselves are not clear about the means of achieving this. And obviously, the leader himself falls in a ditch. The followers will fall. As we say in Gujarati, Getajo, the ships, the ships always have a tendency to follow a leader. It did happen here on one of the railway lines. The leader went on the track. The train was coming. And after following him, few others also went. They got killed, non-thinking. Anyway, he continues that thinking, that point, avidyayam bahuda vartamanaha vayam kritarthaha iti abhimanyanti bala yat karmino na pravedayanti ragat tena turah kshina lokashavante. So, like coronavirus has so many variants now, they say. Indian variant and African variant and British variant. So avidya also has so many variants. It's an expression of avidya. And it expresses in varied ways the ramification of ignorance in varieties. And that is called bahuda. The ignorance is without any quality. It is formless. So there cannot be many ignorances. But the expression of ignorance, as we have been discussing in last two classes, error or misapprehension are so many varied. They are like variants. In that expressions are many. You see, this is important. Two things. What is your vision of life? The other day I told you, each one has a picture of successful living. My life would be successful, or I should be successful, and that vision is governed by their vision of life, vision of Ishvara, vision about the world, vision about themselves. All those values count. There is a picture of successful life, which is bahuda vartaman, varieties. I should have this much money. I should have this big house. But in this state, in this city, in this area, and this kind of furniture and this kind of dog, that is added in modern life. Those days it was not added. But now that is added. And one thing which always amuses me, in India, and it doesn't amuse me that much when I'm in US, but in India, even in India, the dogs are given only English names. If you are coming to India, please note. Have you ever heard in Gujarat a name of a dog, Kanti, Jayanti, Ramesh? There is no dog name. Or which name? Like Ramila, so then Shanta, Jackie, that's a name, Shepherd, Tommy, they have all English names. I don't know why they give English names to dogs. And they try to talk to the dog in English also. they command the dog in English, go! The way they speak, it like sometimes the Shurpanakha is opening the mouth for that Sursa, for Hanumanji to enter. Go! Like that. Come! Simple से जा भाई आजा ऐसा नहीं कहेंगे गुजराती में कैसे नहीं कुछ डॉग नहीं साथ anyway that's a separate issue because there may be a dog can understand only English, maybe that I don't know, maybe because of their karmas of purva janma English knowing only become dog because they enslaved the whole world just for emperorship and arrest the people. Anyway, that's okay. So, coming back to this topic, people have their own ideals, successful living. That picture is to be redrawn. That picture is very shallow and very narrow. One needs to have a larger picture. And not only larger picture, but should have a clear picture. That is not there. No clarity about Ishvara, no clarity about what exactly am I seeking in life. What is the goal? What is the purpose? It is like going on a long drive. Just drive. There is no, similarly, people live life. I have asked quite some time, what do you want exactly? No clarity. Avidyayam bahuda vartamanaha, and based on that picture of successful living, if they achieve something, they think Vayam Krutartha. We are the fulfilled ones, which they are not. But they show to others, they create a facade showing that I am successful, I am this man, this is macho man, or whatever. Which is not true. That sense of lack, sense of insufficiency, sense of being dukhi is all the time there. But facade to show off. And the classic example is marriage. They show off so much as though they are so rich, as though they have so many resources. All the time want to show off to the world, wants acceptance from the world. Bahuda Vartamana. No? And that is true for all, as I said, all theologians, religious leaders. And people follow. They get so conditioned that you do Guru Seva, your moksha is pakka. Fine. I mean, I've come across some sampradayas that when the Guru pats him on the back, then there's devotees and his koteri tell them, now your gate for moksha is open. Guruji patted you on the back. Right? As though Guru is the sole distributor of moksha or what. He signed a letter and then you got the moksha and Bhagavan has appointed him. And they claim we are the only one. You would be shocked to know. I told other day also, these Christians have so many different denominations. At least Catholic and Protestant and few are more. Or, I mean, our original Romans and Russian Orthodox and Roman Orthodox and different Orthodox are also there. This Vatican used to write in their website, ultimately the goal of Christianity is salvation. So they claim we are the only salvific religion. Oh, who gave you this right to claim this? Self-proclaimed. That means all other, first of all, they say we are the only one, the savior. We have come to save you. I don't need to be saved. I am Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Mukta. No, you are Baddha, you are a sinner. That's how they start with. Create a guilt and then say, I'll solve the problem. We create a problem, psychological, and then we are solving. These are called self-appointed leaders. And then among them also they say, we are the only salvific religion mandated by God. I don't know what mandate God gave. And this I hear these fatwas and people telling, God gave a mandate that I should marry my auntie. So God has given me the mandate, you can marry 4 times. And they marry 4 wives, even today. Because this is non-thinking. Because of that picture, they think they are successful, but the very foundation of their values, foundation about their understanding itself is wrong. It's on improper footings. So in spite of thinking we are successful, they are really not successful. Success is measured only in terms of arthakama, how much money I have, and how much pleasures I have, what power and connection I have, they measure it. No. Success the success lies when you think you are successful. Then only you are successful. The whole world may say you are successful. Even the examiner may say, competition, you made it and you become a successful. But as an individual, the person to feel I am as an individual successful. I am successful in a given event, it's okay. But I am successful person, self-contained person, to feel that you have to see yourself. And it is like, then they are all complaining about aturaha. So unless you discover that self, you can never be. And these people, vayam kritarthaha, they think that we are successful. Means they consider themselves as accomplished people. At least they create a facade to others and show that we are accomplished people. It is like modern yogis, Modern yogis talk of Kundalini and then meditation. And they say, you see this light, then you will see this light and this sound and this experience. They change the tone, divine experience, blissful experience. You are soaked in bliss. The guided meditation, I have heard this. Modern gurus talking this. And then somebody comes and said, I said, yes, I saw a red light, red, whole was red. Oh, you have progressed in meditation. Then the other fellow comes and says, I saw some yellow light, yellowish, orangish light. Oh, you have still progressed. It is soothing, soothing. Third person says, oh, I am seeing green light. Guru says, you are very near. You are successful. I said, how many years? I asked these three guys, for how many years you are meditating and attending Guru's classes? One fellow said 7 years, another said 10 years, another said 5 years. And I asked them, how much dakshina did you give to this Guru? It was quite a dakshina. I said, give me half of it. Without closing the eyes, I can show you red, yellow, and green light on every street crossing. There are traffic lights available, and you watch. And Guru claims you are near one. The Guru himself doesn't know. And Kundalini, and this is all jugglery of the words, the white heat of meditation. How can it be white? It's a big question. This kritartha, and the fellow feels, I am fulfilled. I had a white heat. I felt heat. I heard some sound. I saw some light. Confusion. Iti abhimanyanti, they think that. And they are bala. You know what is successful living? Successful living is to grow up. Just by having gray hairs, you don't become grown up. Just by having money, you don't become grown up. Just by having position and some pleasure, you don't become grown up person. Who is a grown up person? Two things. Look at otherwise. Who is a child? The most predominant characteristic of a child, or I would say the childish approach in life. The child who is always looks upon childishly. The parents also tell, don't become childish, don't become childish, you have grown up. But when they want it otherwise, they say, don't become childish. And when they want it otherwise, you have grown up now, behave as a grown up. The double message they give. Who is a child? What is childish approach? Only this. Incapacity to accept the fact. Lack of objectivity is a child. Child lives in his or her subjective world, doesn't know certain facts of life, can't appreciate certain problems, certain limitations, certain situation. This is what I want and that should be done. This is what I don't want and that should not be done. Doesn't know. It is a simple 5, 7-year-old baby when promised by daddy on Sunday, I'll take you to some party or somewhere outside to garden, and for whatever reason, one Sunday daddy did not take him away. Second Sunday also he has some important meeting and he seeks apology. Child makes all kinds of tantrums. No, you don't take me, you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Daddy is helpless because of some office pressure. He can't see the fact, can't appreciate the fact, and cannot accept the fact. Some parents try to communicate and tell the baby, but they can't accept. And that's why every child has a complaint about the father and mother. And more so, there are two children, siblings having not much of age difference. Both of them feel the other one is more dear to me than me. Because there is always some carried forward, some unconscious issues towards the parents. And that is thrown upon after marriage on the partner. So it passes on to that. So the childish incapacity to accept the fact. To live subjectively is childish. Grown up is an objective person. What is growth? That I am objective. I have the space, inner space, to accept the things which are factual. Fact as a fact. To be objective. I don't impute any subjective value or anything. I just take it as it is. Balaha. I mean, they live in a subjective world. Nowadays, there is a word common. There's even schools, originally it was for sports, sports, cricket team or volleyball team or football team. When they have started the sports for recreation because Corona has created a lot of psychological issues. And they say we'll create a bubble. The sports person will live in bubble. Then they will not go out and not come in. Now we are opening the schools from 1st June and some of the schools are having bubble. They don't like these teachings through computer and mobile. They want live physical teaching. The school will be bubble school for 5 days, 7 days. And every Sunday we sanitize. Then again new batch comes. And so bubbling means what? They never go out and nobody comes from outside. And before they enter, we'll make the test. Even if their fellow has grown up gray hairs, each one of them live in their bubble. Therefore, Bala. And second characteristic, predominant characteristic, or the childishness is incapacity to rethink. Not open to reconsider the whole thing. So also when we lose that capacity to restructure our values, our attitudes, our goals, our parameters of successful living, that is Bala. These are the fellows who are Balaha. Avidyayam bahuda vartamanaha vayam krutarthaha iti abhimanyanti balaha. They are immature people. They don't see beyond their misconceptions. They don't see beyond certain goals that they have fixed up as a successful living. They don't see beyond means and ends. They don't see there is something called emotional maturity in the life. They don't see there is something called self-content, relatively self-content living. They see they are driven by, the next line says, Katene yat karmino na pravedayanti ragat na pravedayanti, because of raga. Raga means raga and dvesha, please understand. They are purely subjective. We have discussed in Tattva Bodha. Was in last century or last millennia. You might have forgotten. And so I'm saying this. Raga is a subjective value. To look upon something as a source or a potential source of security and happiness, as a source of fulfillment, that is purely subjective. The whole world is divided into raga and dvesha. Object is an object. In the translation, proper translation for object is padartha. But padartha is converted into vishaya. Whatever it is worth, but then we impute extra value that this will make me happy, this will give me satisfaction, and we impute a value that I will be most unhappy with this. Dvesha means to look upon a person or a situation or an object as a source or a potential source of unhappiness and insecurity. To look upon as a source of security, contentment, happiness is raga. That's why so many things are sold in this world, including clothes. They say, we have one brand, complete man. You become complete by wearing Raymond suit. That's a value. That fellow said vividly, but people pick up a value. If I have Mercedes, then I am complete. If I have this particular brand and this particular model of car, of a house, of a wristwatch, or of a computer, or even mobile, then I am complete. That is raga. This is a means, sadhanam. Car is a means to transport me from one place to another place. Mobile is a means to communicate few things and do other operations, helps me to take pictures and mails and whatever it is. But to see it as sense of my completeness, satisfaction is raga. Please understand, world by itself is innocent. Bhagavan has not created anything that binds you. What people say that. Nothing binds you. It's innocent thing. Even money is innocent. It's just a buying tender. It's an exchange tender by which you can buy the goods. That's it. And sometimes you can buy the minister or buy the contract by giving money. It's okay. But nothing more. But I impute a value that I'll be somebody if I have money. That's subject. And somebody blames money also. Money is bad. Why it is bad? It is neither good nor bad. Don't blame money, poor money. Don't blame women. Hey, women is bad. Keep away. Don't look at the women. Why should you not? There are sampradayas. These are called andheneva niyamana yathanda. I'm sure someday women will create a sampradaya. Don't look at men. They are bad. They will tell ladies also. Don't look at them. They are bad. And then they say they are temptress. So they are tempters. They will coin a word. It's not there. It is you. The problem is you. Solution is you. Subjective values. Sometimes they are so strong, it is not your value. You are driven by the values. That is called the ragat pravedayanti. because of these strong likes and dislikes. These likes and dislike manifest in terms of strong desires. That desire fulfilling which only I will be complete. And if I cannot fulfill, I will be incomplete, lacking. And that state makes me so discomforting that I cannot remain. I cannot handle, I cannot accept myself. So any which way I want it, there people compromise on the means. Even if the desire may be legit for a legitimate end, they are driven to employ illegitimate means for it. Because when you take up air travel across the world, there are certain announcements that our air hostesses makes, which hardly anybody listens, Because most of the passengers are frequent flyers, except few who are trialing first time. And they make this particular announcement. If the air pressure drops, the mask will fall from the top, and put the mask to your nose. And before helping others, don't become Parduka Banjana, become Raja, helping others. You put your own mask and then blah, 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 they say. Cabin pressure never drops in the flight. Thank God. At least I have not seen that pressure. Drop pressure, and I have not listened from anybody there who traveled and it dropped. So also this cabin pressure never drops. There is a real pressure here. I want it. I just don't want it. And because of that, there is a bubble in which they live. And because of that, they become incapacitated to change, to listen to something. Just can't communicate. I've come across people, learned people. I've come across the leaders in India now, leaders of a whole business fraternity, big guns. In Gujarat, if I tell the name, every Gujarati would know who he may be in states. Such a big fellows. There is a bubble. This vaccine is dangerous. And they don't take. And somehow it has gone into mind that this vaccine is going to change your whole psyche, and it is designed to destroy the culture. If you take vaccine, your children will be born differently, will not adhere to our religious values, and it is Christians have planted this to destroy our dharma. And the whole delegation came to me. I said, but this has been produced by Hindus. Where is the Christian coming into picture? Covaxin and all that is produced by India. Whatever it is, but our government is playing in their heads. Bubble. Just don't take it. Not ready to rethink it. Some values, so strong value of the religion, and so conditioned, coupled with that conditioning and the religious values, they refuse to get vaccinated. And they not only they refuse to get vaccinated, they ran a campaign through social media that you should not take vaccine. So in India, no doubt this month we have not enough vaccine shots are available, enough in a sense compared to population. Every day they are vaccinating some 40, 50 lakhs, 4, 5 millions. It would be almost amounting to 1/4 of the country in some of the European countries. It would be finishing. Half the Israel, you can say. There are only 8 million people anyway. But then another reason is people don't go to be vaccinated. Especially for senior citizen, it is open. Just walk in and take it. Still people refuse. Kamatura. In the 3rd chapter, Arjuna asked Bhagavan, Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. Anichannapi Varshnaya baladiva niyojita. Yeah, Varshnaya, hey Krishna, what is that factor driven by which, prompted by which, pushed by which a human being commits sin? And he says, Anichannapi, even while doing, he or she knows that I shouldn't be doing. Anichannapi Varshnaya. Baladiva niyojita, as though forcefully made to do. Bhagavan says, Kama esha krodha esha. The force, the pressure of a desire, pressure of likes and dislikes, pressure of anger. Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava mahashano mahapapma vidyena mihavairi. So, please understand, papam is not in terms of looting somebody or hurting somebody or doing some wrong. No. That papam is incapacity to rethink, incapacity to fall within the boundaries of Shastra. Shastra Maryada. Cultural Maryada, that I know this is our Maryada, but I can't. And then later on they tend to justify themselves because they have to become acceptable in their own eyes. They know when they are doing improper thing, that it creates a hurt and then guilt. And they want to remove the guilt, so they give logic to it. That is called kamatura. Tene yat karmino na pravedayanti ragat. Ragat na pravedayanti. The strong likes and dislikes, the strong values, strong longings, strong desires, strong want to have something and get rid of something in their value structure, that successful living structure, that bubble, they don't see the fact. Ena tura na pravedayanti ragat. And yat karmino na pravedayanti ragat. Here primarily when Bhagavan says karminaha, means committed to means and ends. Pursuing one end after another end and working on different means. So karma, karma phale asakta. They are committed to karmas, committed to karma phalas. And he says, Tena turaha kshina lokat chavante. Aturaha means afflicted. Tena means due to that ignorance. Ultimately, ignorance caused error and error caused ragadveshas. So born out of ultimately ignorance. Tena, by remaining ignorant, they are already ignorant. Continuing to be ignorant, aturaha, they are always afflicted by sorrow and pain. You know why? They see the complete self in future. And they see themselves as of today, I am not okay. When you see that I am not okay, nothing in this world can make you feel I am okay. Even after going to heaven also, I'll continue to be not okay. When you see yourself not at home with yourself now, and you think that I will be at home with myself in future by restructuring my life, restructuring my goal, by restructuring my possessions and relations, even after that restructure, it will be the same. It may appear to you as of now that that will make me happy, but that also will make you equally unhappy. Only the nimitta changes. Exactly like when I don't have money, I thought if I get 100 rupees, I'll be on the top of the world. I'll be happy. And when the 100 is assured, there is an assurance that I am getting 100 and started getting 200 rupees. Wow, what a moment. Then if I have 500, I'll be happy. Then 1,000, then 10,000, then 100,000, then million, then 100 millions. It goes on. You see, this, the nimitta changes. I was feeling wanting for 100 rupees. Now the fellow feels wanting for what? 1 million rupees. You understand? The sense of lack. So the sense of lack or sense of wanting for 100 rupees was little and million is bigger. No, it is same. That is true with everything. Whatever I project in future that this will make me happy, and without that I see myself wanting for that particular thing or a situation or position or power or possession or whatever, pleasure, whatever it is. That sense of lack is same. All the time dukhi. Or aturaha, afflicted, unspelt, unexpressed, not revealing, but inside that sense is felt. Yenaturaha, what he says, Kshina lokachavante. This is in context with Vedic Kala, where people pursued different karmas and aspired to go to different lokas, heaven or something. Now it is going to America, or going to Japan, or going to Canada, or Australia, or New Zealand. These are the four predominant countries that Indian people aspire to go, and they go. Australia, or Canada, or Japan, or US something. Or in those days it was UK, London, England written. That was a big status. So, Kshina lokas chavante means Kshina punye sati lokas chavante. All these lokas I had mentioned, you get only visitor visa, you go to the loka and stay there as long as your punya is there. And moment the punya gets exhausted, you are sent back to the cycle of birth and death, to different yonis, to different births. So that is called falling from the loka. It's a figurative usage. Chavante, they fall from those lokas. When Kshina loka means Kshina punya. When our punya is exhausted, they again come to this cycle of birth and death. In other words, they continue to be aturaha. They continue to be afflicted. They continue to be unhappy. They continue to be dissatisfied. It is so true. The fellow in India was dissatisfied. Having gone to US also is dissatisfied. Having succeeded there also is dissatisfied. I've come across, he's a billionaire. The guy is a billionaire. Or Guju guy. And has a very noble background and all that. But still dissatisfied. He talks to me, and then I don't get a place in the party, and in the country also I should be respected. And Swamiji introduced me to the proper level, and we do this, and I am ready to spend money. Wants some recognition here, wants some recognition or place there in Republican Party. Another fellow wants in Democratic. And there's this Swamiji of contacts, and I'm ready to spend and do this. This atura. Always with a begging ball. Seeing the self as a complete self in some futuristic situations. That means what? I am not okay. If you are not okay, nothing, no change can make you feel okay for good. And if you are okay, any change will make you feel okay. Whether pleasant or unpleasant, whether a liked one or disliked one. You have to discover a self that is okay. Therefore, he says, Shina lokat shivante, they fall back. Means after some time, they 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 again continue to feel incomplete. They again continue to be dissatisfied or not at home with themselves. Momentarily, it may give that feeling. Even going to heaven may give. But Swamiji would say, even there also he will have problem. Even the fellow went to heaven, but in heaven also there are grades who have better punyas, and so somebody will get 5 bedroom house and somebody will get 4 bedroom house and somebody will get simple 1 bedroom condo. You may not have a house. So why I have only this much and other has that much? He will create. So, and at least certainly after that, Loka, you come back and suffer. But there also, this human, when I said when you are not okay, any change, you will continue to be not okay. And if you are okay, any change, you continue to be okay. So these fellows, Shina Loka Chavante. And in next couple of verses, couple of mantra, Bhagavan Rishi concludes this section and comes back to the Vedanta and explains the purpose of it, why all this was discussed. As I had mentioned earlier, this was discussed to create or inculcate Vairagya. And again, just reminding, Vairagya means objectivity. Vairagya means maturity. Vairagya means capacity or a space to accept certain facts without being shaken. I don't let myself being driven by those feelings of irritation and anger and despair and frustration and all kinds of feelings. It is a heavy load on me. That they don't come. I see the facts as a fact. And that is Vairagya. Actual life, objective life, that is being discussed on verse number 12, 13 onwards. And we will see those mantras, I hope, by next Sunday. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Namaste. See you on next Saturday, and